Lillard, 60 points. It's Dame time. He posts the most efficient 60-point scoring game in NBA history. Then later on in the show, we take a look at this week's top performers off the bench, including Malcolm Brogdon and Seth Curry. And what is LeBron James so furious about? Well, maybe he saw the all-star starters being picked on TNT. All that and more coming up on the Lowe Zone. Welcome back to the Lowe Zone, everybody. I'm Justin Lowe alongside Oscar Creed. Oscar, who the hell is Oscar Creed? Where did we find this guy? An Orlando Magic fan. I mean, this guy is 13th seeded in the Orlando Magic, and I don't know where I got you, Oscar. Why don't you tell the people where I found you?
Well, to keep it short and sweet, my name's Oscar Creed. I am one half of the Lowe Zone, and I am full part at the Magic Report on Instagram and on Twitter. I've been running that page for 6 years now, 7 years going on, and we are the most active, we are the most up-to-date Orlando Magic page on Instagram. But yeah, Justin reached out. He wants me on the show. It's as simple as that. As you can tell, the Magic are his favorite team, judging by the jerseys behind him. So it's nice to do a show with like-minded Magic fans.
Yeah, and this one is going to be it's going to be a fun show. We have a good one planned for you. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it last week, but we're back this week. We got a lot to cover because the NBA has their slow weeks. They have their busy weeks. This week, Oscar, was one of their busy weeks. We saw Dame drop 60. We saw a couple of trades happen. We've seen the all-star starters being picked out. So we have that and a lot more to get to look forward to throughout the show. But for now, I made this up, and Oscar, I haven't told you this yet. So this is kind of off script, but I figured we would do something where we can interact with our viewers, our followers, our fans, whatever the hell you want to call them, and create a starting five, a starting lineup, the top best, I guess, supporters in the chat, whether they donate, whether they're active in the chat, creating conversation. So I have a couple of rules. So how do you join the starting five? How do I get a part of that starting five? How do I get my name up on that board? Well, you must subscribe to Good Time Content's YouTube channel, which can be seen right here. You must be active in the chat. You got to be active in the chat. All positivity in the chat, but you got to be active in the chat. And then you must be a reoccurring video. Don't just come in here for the one episode and then say, that was good. That was actually the best thing I've ever seen in my life, but I'm never coming back. No, you got to come back. You got to be a reoccurring viewer.
It's not the best thing they've ever seen if they don't come back. I hear you.
Right. And then, so that's how to join. That's kind of, the little rules. And then the top two viewers will win a free jersey of their choice. So it could be from any team. Do the top two viewers want a nice Paolo Banchero Rookie of the Year jersey? Or do they want a Peyton Pritchard jersey? Better than Jalen Suggs jersey is what I like to call it. And then the top three, what?
That's a disgusting thing to say. That is probably the most objectively incorrect statement. I think you're one of like 5 people worldwide who owns a Peyton Pritchard jersey. Just throwing it out there.
Really? I mean, I don't think anybody has a Suggs. I don't even think Suggs has a Suggs jersey. But the top 3 to 5 viewers, they'll spin the wheel. So they're still in the mix for a little something. Top 3 to 5 viewers will put your name on a wheel. We'll spin the wheel. Winner of the wheel will get their name atop of the starting 5 for next season of the Lowe Zone. But look, it's been a long time coming. It's been upwards of 88 days since the last episode of the Lowe Zone. So welcome back. Let's get into it because right away, right off to start the week, we saw Damian Lillard go for 60 points, Oscar, the most efficient 60-point game. So there's only been this is via ESPN. Lillard needed just 29 shot attempts and 10 free throw attempts to score 60 points, putting him in elite company. Only 2 players, Karl Malone and James Harden, in 90 and then 1990 and then 2019, have reached 60 points on fewer shot attempts, but both scored a high percentage of their points at the foul line, taking 23 free throws apiece. So we saw something historic from Damian Lillard. We've seen this many times with Damian Lillard, but this type of performance with the type of efficiency was one of a kind. Where is Damian Lillard at? I feel like he doesn't get talked about enough, and that's because I get it. He's on the Portland Trailblazers. No CJ McCollum. No, you know what I mean? So a little low marketing there, but it's Dame time in Portland.
Damian Lillard is consistently the most disrespected superstar in the NBA. And what hurts the most is that his loyalty is not being rewarded by the fans, nor is it being rewarded by the team.
Right.
So he takes things into his own hands quite often, which is why we see these prolific scoring performances. You know, like you said, only two other players scored on fewer field goal attempts. He only had 10 free throw attempts on those 29 field goals, shooting 72% from the field. Guess the two other players in NBA history who have more 60-point games than Damian Lillard.
More 60-point games than Damian. Give
There's
me
two
one hint.
players.
Is one of them still in the league?
One of them's dead.
Oh.
Actually, no, sorry. Both are dead. Sorry. Both are not with us anymore.
Oh. Kobe?
Yeah.
Kobe and there's one more?
Yeah.
Kobe and Bill Russell?
Close. Wilt Chamberlain.
Wow, that's really close. Wow. Yeah,
So
I mean that's elite company.
To be in conversation with Kobe Bryant and Wilt Chamberlain is elite in its own regard. And honestly, I feel like there's too much disrespect around Damian Lillard. I believe he's a top 50 player of all time. I believe that maybe Dwight Howard deserved it over him, but Damian's backing it up, and all he needs is that second superstar, and that he's yet to have, and then these 60-point games will have more value and merit down the line.
So do you think like where do the Portland Trailblazers, I guess, go from here in terms of like I understand Dame, we've known Dame is a bona fide star, like but like he needs help down in over in Portland. Like are Portland's buyers, are they sellers at the deadline? I mean, Dame's got to be active. They're very and the cool thing is about Damian Lillard, Oscar, is the fact that like he's had some rough years in Portland, but he also realizes like, "Hey, I could be one of those players where I do go through thick and thin. I go through these phenomenal performances, but I wanna stay here and win a title in Portland where I was drafted, where I'm from." Like, where do the Portland Trailblazers go from here?
They've done a lot to surround him with pieces that you could surround a Michael Jordan type player with. Like I look at their roster built of Jeremy Grant, Josh Hart, Justice Winslow. Not saying much,
Yeah,
but all those guys are hustle, grit and grind players who aren't going to give up
right.
on every possession, who aren't liabilities on either end of the floor. Like you look at what he had beforehand, C.J. McCollum, and even LaMarcus Aldridge. Like those guys, granted, how as talented as they were on offense, they couldn't get it done on defense to the same extent that guys like Jeremy Grant, Josh Hart, and even
Right.
Yusuf Nurkic, who gets a lot of flack for not uh, being in that elite tier of defensive big men. He's got an offensive prowess that's just second to none, and it's sad to see that the Portland Trailblazers front office hasn't made Portland an attractive enough destination for
Yeah.
other big name superstars to join Damian with.
Yeah, and it's kind of it's very frustrating because I also think that McCollum worked so well with Damian Lillard. It's just like years of unsuccessful, I guess, runs. But we talk about getting Damian Lillard some help, but we also don't talk about giving Nurkic help, right? Like down low, like you said, like I feel like he's very disrespected in some aspects, and by no means is he, a Kareem or Will or even today's guys like Embiid or Jokic, but he's still a solid center, and I feel like there's nobody to back up his solid center. Like who's their
Oh,
starting center out there, or their backup center?
Drew Eubanks.
Which there's plenty of backup centers out there better than Drew Eubanks, with all due respect.
Yeah, so Drew Eubanks, granted, is taking a big step in the right direction in terms of career development. He was dropped by the Spurs last year, picked up by Portland on a couple 10-day contracts, and then he comes back and he's made a name for himself as a backup center with offensive prowess. But someone like a Nerlens Noel or a Mo Bamba, someone with rim protection type abilities to back up Yusuf Nurkic, would do wonders, I think, for the Portland Trailblazers.
I think Portland definitely has a lot on their plate. But moving on from Portland and going into our next headline, Oscar, there was a trade that happened. Actually, it was a trade that we had a segment planned last week that we were going to get to still, but we had to replace that player's name. You know who that player's name was? Do you know who that player's name was?
Rui Hachimura?
It was Ray Hachimura. And look, he's been great, and he's been a very solid piece in Washington. But I think something that stuck out was obviously the play of Kyle Kuzma, the wing of Kyle Kuzma and Roy Hachimura. He kind of not declined necessarily, but his role became less important when Kyle Kuzma came into town and he's playing the way he's been playing. The trade rumor sparked, and then all of a sudden, the Lakers come in and the Lakers swoop him up. Which I know I'm a Celtics guy, but I absolutely love that for the Los Angeles Lakers. They gave up Kendrick Nunn, I believe 3 second-round draft picks, and one of them
Yeah.
I don't think is gonna be accumulated, but, I think that's a very solid trade. I guess that's a win-win for both teams in sense of Kuzma's gonna get to flourish at the wing position, and then the Lakers get a much-needed wing, who could stretch the floor, who could play defense. I think that's huge for both teams, especially LA.
They're in need of LA's in need of this catch and shoot presence, right? And Rui Hachimura is 40% plus on catch and shoot threes this season. And he's taking a pretty high number of attempts of catch and shoot threes per game. I don't know the exact stat here, but it works out for both teams because Kuzma somehow just became out of the blue Washington's number one guy. Like, move over Bradley Beal. This is the
Right.
Kuz show. Which, if you told me last year, I would have called you ridiculous. But it seems that the Wizards are now banking on a future of Kyle Kuzma, Kristaps Porzingis, and Bradley Beal. Rui to LA is great. You know, he's not going to get the same touches. He's probably going to get a similar role that he had in Washington playing behind Kyle Kuzma. And it's really too bad because I think Rui is a very special talent.
Yep.
Phil Handy, who used to coach the Raptors during the 2019 championship season, said that Rui Hachimura reminds him of Kawhi Leonard. And I don't see that. I don't see exactly what he's saying. I think it's nice when a coach likes to hype up a player and give him some
Right.
confidence going into a new environment. But I don't see any bit of Kawhi Leonard in Rui Hachimura's game. I see more of a he does remind me a little bit of Kuzma. And I think it would have been nice if he took a few notes from Kuzma's book. But, you know, going to LA, he's not going to get those touches that'll turn him into a 15-plus point per game scorer unless they
Right.
decide to shake up the starting lineup, which I still think they should.
Yeah, there's certainly like a lot to figure out. I just think that LA, what the thing about LA is, I think they've been so focused on adding these big name players, like a Carmelo Anthony. Like Melo had a few good games in LA, but they bought the name, not the player, right? Like they bought the name Carmelo Anthony. They bought the name, and I love Dwight Howard. And actually, I thought Dwight Howard had a great comeback with the Lakers, but they also bought the name Dwight Howard. Um, and
They bought
not
the name Trevor Ariza, too, you know?
right, like this wasn't 2009, this wasn't 2013, like this was 2022. Like, like these players, I think Celtics ran into some problems doing this as well. Like they didn't realize what they had in terms of like Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum were accelerating stars. Like those were the stars, even though when they were young, they were always looking for like a Kemba Walker at the time, a Gordon Hayward, a Kyrie Irving. You even threw in the name Damian Lillard at times. Like the Celtics didn't need that. It was right in front of them, and that's kind of what the Lakers have right now, where Anthony Davis, if he could consistently stay healthy, that's your guy. Like the South, like
Right.
they need to go. They need to. They're gonna start designing plays for Anthony Davis. Like last night, they kept designing plays for LeBron James. Like give AD the ball and move out of the way. I feel like this is Anthony Davis's team, and I think they're focused too much on these big name players like a Russell Westbrook and a LeBron James. Where yes, Westbrook is playing very solid off the bench this year, and yes, LeBron James is still playing at a high caliber, especially for his age. but those are names that were, big and dominant 8 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago.
I'm going to stop you real quick, and I think they should still run plays through LeBron. I still think LeBron is that number one option on the Lakers. He's proven it. He's 38 years old, and he's putting up 46 points, here and there. He's putting up 30 bombs, 40 bombs, you name it. And he's still dishing the ball out at an elite level. So I don't think there should be a conversation of let's give LeBron a back seat. I understand that AD is a force to be reckoned with. I don't trust AD as a coach, as a GM. I don't want to put all my eggs into the AD basket. That's just not the way I see it. I do believe Russell Westbrook needs a new home. He is settled into this six-man role where he's shooting, just under 30% from three, I believe. And he's still stat padding, right? When Russell Westbrook fanboys see that he's averaging 15, 7, and 8, he's got I think he's averaging 8 assists per game, something like best for seventh in the league. And he's off the bench, so I'll give him credit for that. But he's playing starter minutes. You know what I mean? He's playing starter minutes with the second unit. And when you see him and LeBron James on the floor at the same time, it physically hurts to watch go down. So I would say AD is still a reliable second option. During their 2020 championship run, I don't think it was AD's team. I don't think that was all him. Granted, he had amazing performances on both ends of the floor. I think it's time you shake up your guard depth, Dennis Schroeder is not who he used to be. As much as close as he is with LeBron, as much as they get along, he's not going to help you guys to a postseason run.
Right.
And neither was Kendrick Nunn, which is why this Rui Hachimura move was great. And I wanted to touch on Kendrick Nunn and give him a shout out because people thought he was just a filler for this trade. He's averaging 12 points, granted small sample size, 12 points in 2 appearances on 45.5% from the field with the Wizards. So that was compared to him shooting 40.6% from the field on bad 3-point efficiency, 6.5 points per game with the Lakers. So he's taken a big step, right, to play behind
Yeah.
Monte Morris and the Wizards.
I've always described the Lakers, at least in recent years, they're like a team that you build in 2K and you think they're just going to dominate because of the names you have, and they just stink. Like they just stink. And that's like how I see. And honestly, like I even saw that in Brooklyn for a time when they had the bench of like Patty Mills, Lamarcus Aldridge, even throwing Blake Griffin. Like these were great names at one point, but you put them all on the same team in today's NBA, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And that's
No.
kind of what the Lakers don't have a direction, in my opinion. I think they're stuck in the middle. They're too good to be in the lottery, and they suck too bad to go anywhere in the playoffs. Like I think they're just in that kind of aspect.
And the Pelicans own their first round pick this year. So even if they do fall into the lottery, wah,
It's not really
wah,
going to matter.
nothing
Right.
nothing's coming from that, right? So then you have to reevaluate. You're right. For anyone who's played NBA 2K My League, you know that the big names, if you throw a bunch of superstars on a team, you'll probably win a championship. But if you're playing realistically and you want to have Westbrook and LeBron and AD on a team, that's not going to work. You got to think like a GM and how the basketball is going to be moving often. You know what I mean? If people are
Yeah.
getting too many touches, if the usage rate is too high amongst a few guys and the other guys aren't getting touches, the only way I see the Lakers contending with the team with the 3 stars they have now, everyone else on that team needs to be an elite shooter. You need
Right.
every single guy because AD, LeBron, and Russ demand the ball in their hands. If you took all 3 of their usage rates, I would probably say it's like 70 to 30%. You know what I mean? Maybe 75-25. And if you want that to work by not, moving the ball effectively, get a Kevin Herter type guy. Get a Joe Harris. Even a Patty Mills would
Right.
be good. You know what I mean? It doesn't work if you don't have people who can make the shots if you're a bunch of facilitators on offense.
And that's also, like, going back to the whole Brooklyn thing, that's also why I didn't really see KD, uh, James, and, Kyrie working out, and they're solid facilitators compared to Russell Westbrook, who is it? LeBron and AD. But
You got it.
also, like, you put those 3 egos like, people think about building super teams, like, people don't think about egos. It's like, yes, you get LeBron, yes, you're getting KD, James Harden and and Kyrie Irving on the same team, but, like, think of their egos, man. Who is that? Is that Harden? It is Harden, but, like, think of their egos, though, in all seriousness, like, that's just not gonna work. A player who demands the ball in their hands 24/7, and the Lakers have been filled with guys like that, and that's not going to work, and that's why I think that Rui Hachimura trade also is huge for them because it gives them some floor spacing, it gives them some,
Yeah,
little bit of shooting, that they didn't have previously, but I agree, and their shooting is aren't they, like, the worst three-point shooting, team in the league? I don't have the stat
it's
pulled up, but
atrocious.
they're pretty bad. I mean, and last night Lakers and Celtics, Patrick Beverly hit like 3 or 4 threes, and I was like, "What am I watching? Like, this is just this is pure luck." Like, their guard depth, as you mentioned earlier in the show, is just so confusing, and it's like it literally is something that you see in a video game. Like, their guard depth is who plays point is it's Schroeder, then it go or it's Schroeder, Patrick Beverly, and Russell Westbrook. That is the most odd is and then your starting point guard out of the 3 is Dennis Schroeder. Like
And you expect to win games running a
right,
ball through Pat Bev. Pat Bev is not a facilitator, man. That's a guy that you have on the floor for grit and grind purposes. You need him to play extremely hard on defense, and maybe he
right.
makes an occasional shot. Please, God, never draw up a play for Patrick Beverly. And I don't trust Dennis Schroeder either. Dennis Schroeder's come up at a clutch a number of times in his career. We're at the
Right.
point where he's only balling out in the Euro basket competition every year. Um, on this point of 3-point shooters, because I think we should go to our next topic right after.
Yep.
The Lakers are the only teams that are worse at 3-point shooting this season are the Charlotte Hornets, the Houston Rockets, the Toronto Raptors, the Miami Heat. So the Lakers are 26th worst team in 3-point shooting this year,
That's
33.6%.
yeah, that's atrocious. But you know who else is also going through problems?
Who's that?
It's the Toronto Raptors up north. Those guys are going through some tough troubles. They're just not playing well. I get their injuries and all that. But I think OG Anunoby wants out, you were telling me. Fred
Yeah,
VanVleet wants to stick around for the rebuild, but he also wants to get paid this astronomical amount of money. Same thing with Pascal Siakam. I just don't know how it's going to work out. Gary Trent Jr. It's a very confusing team up north right now, Oscar.
look, you and I had this discussion yesterday or the day before about the Toronto Raptors and their current state. It's a mess up there right now, but it's not messy enough to blow it all up like Masai Ujiri is painted to think that's how he wants the team to go. The media thinks that once a team isn't in playoff contention, that's when you need to blow it up. Because if you're in the middle of the pack, it's a waste of a season. You either need to be competing for the lottery or you need to be competing for the playoffs. And if you're in that middle ground, it's not worth it. I think that's completely BS. It's incorrect. If you want a team to build humility and to have strength from within, you need to have seasons where you're at the lowest of the low. And for the Raptors in their core, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet, this is their lowest point since 2016-17, maybe. Um, and so you're right. You're right. OG Anunoby was recently reported. It's reported by Rick Boucher that he's unhappy in Toronto, and the only reason I see that happening is because of all the rumors and the Raptors actually having a price on OG's head and technically making him available. Um, they did decline an offer. I believe it was from the Knicks for 3 first-round picks and a younger player for OG. If I'm the Raptors, I'm not selling. I wouldn't sell. I would keep this team and let them go. If worst comes to worst, let them finish at the 12th or 13th seed. I don't care. Pascal Siakam has verbally said that he wants to stay during this retooling session that the Raptors are going through. Fred VanVleet wants a bag. He said he wants a Tyler Hero type bag. So 4 years, $130 million. Tyler Hero didn't even deserve that bag, in my opinion. And now Fred VanVleet wants 130 million. That's what? That's 35 mil a year, I believe. 30 something like that.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
But the good news is that Pascal Siakam wants to stay around no matter what happens in the direction of the team, which I think is phenomenal, right? Just because your team isn't doing well doesn't mean you need to trade your franchise player, the face of your team, one day going to have his jersey retired in the rafters, right?
Right.
Because then there's this bad taste in your mouth. Then you're like, down the line, oh, they traded Pascal when things were rough. They didn't believe in him. If I'm Masai Ujiri, I'm testing the waters for Fred VanVleet. That's the only player that I'm putting on the market right now. Maybe Gary Trent. There are these Pascal, Fred, and Gary are the only three players that literally have said they want to stay in Toronto with the Raptors because of the culture that's being built.
Yeah.
Everyone else in the league looks at it and they go, "Oh, Toronto, it's in Canada." And as a Canadian, I want to share to those fans who are skeptical about the Great White North is like, it's great up here. Life is the same as, if not better. The quality of
Right.
life up here in Toronto. Granted, you'll have to pay more of your contract in taxes, but
I,
but
I
it's
think
still a great place.
I think Toronto is kind of in the position where Boston was at in 2021,
Right.
where the year before they had a solid year, fell short, and then the next year they come back and they are a 500 team. They're a play-in team. You said it kind of perfectly, like something how I would explain it in terms of, your best players are gonna have to go through stuff before they see greatness or before they, can get back to the top. They're gonna go through. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum went through that 500 season. They went through that play-in tournament, and now look at them. They're flourishing right now. They're the best duo in the league, arguably, and it's just that's kind of what they're going to have to do. Don't shrug your head like you think Markel Fultz and Mo Bamba are the best in the league. He told me that the other day. I wasn't ready to debate that, but
I'd say Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero are more of a top 10.
no, top
It's almost
10
like you think it's like.
already.
Do you want to do it real quick? We'll name the top 10
No, not
duos
real
really fast.
quick. You can't just say they're a top 10 duo right now.
KD, so in no order, KD and Kyrie, Tatum and Brown.
No, that's the order. That's the order. You're putting it in order. Tatum and Brown. You're just trying to tick me off. Tatum and Brown are the best duo in the NBA right now. No way you could say Kyrie and KD. They haven't even played with each other, and they've been on the same team for 3 years. It's not KD and Kyrie. It's not KD and Kyrie, especially after Tatum and Brown swept them in the first round. There's no way you think it's Tatum and KD.
Okay. I said not in order. Do you want me to tell you?
No, you did say in order because you said not in order, but you went in order because then
They were the first names to come to my mind.
No, they weren't because I just mentioned Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and then you mentioned Franz Wagner and Paul. So there's no way KD and Kyrie
Get
was
ready
just
for
the
this to
first
rock
in
your
my
world.
mind.
You're gonna disagree with this right as I say it, but I need you to think about it for 5 seconds afterwards.
No,
okay?
I'm not. No.
Giannis and Drew Holiday.
No.
Think about it.
No. Tatum and Brown beat Giannis and Drew Holiday last week or last playoffs. There's no way. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are the best duo in the NBA right now. And they are the most winningest duo in the NBA.
They're top 3.
Yeah, and they're not 2 and they're not 3. So yeah, you're right. They're top 3, they're not 2, they're not 3. There is no way you could tell me Kyrie and KD are a better duo right now than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown when the Celtics swept them. The Celtics swept them last year. Didn't even give them a chance. Actually, Kevin Durant had his worst playoff series he's ever had in his 30 million thousand
That's
or
fair.
billion. Kyrie
That's
Irving never
fair.
plays, so you can't even
That's
say
fair.
Kyrie Irving. You can't even say Kyrie Irving. The dude hasn't touched the court in 3 years.
I'm talking this season.
Yes,
okay?
this season they barely played together. And Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have played all season long. They barely taken time off.
Is that the duo that got smacked by this team 3 times? Is that this duo that got smacked by this team?
Jason Tatum didn't play in one of the games. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Okay, but they lose 3 regular season games to the Orlando Magic, the 13th seed, and all of a sudden they're the worst duo in the league.
I didn't say worst duo, man.
So who's your number 1 duo in the league? Who's your number 1 duo in the league? Your number 1 duo in the league.
Giannis and Drew Holiday.
No way.
They're locking down Tatum and Brown, man. I'm sorry. You put Tatum on Giannis, and then you have Drew Holiday on Jaylen Brown. I think Holiday would have a tough time guarding Brown, but Giannis is locking the fuck out of Jason Tatum.
There is no way you think that. There is no way. Okay, so who's your number two? Who's your number two?
Tatum and Brown.
Who's your number two?
Tatum
That's
and
not
Brown.
your real
If
number
I'm if
two.
I'm gonna be fair here, if you want to be fair and legit, Tatum and Brown, my second
There's
best.
who's your number three, and do not dare say Kevin Durant.
I've been taught to never doubt Steph Curry. I'm gonna say Curry and Clay. When it comes playoff time, baby. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. Third best duo this season. You can't argue that. You can't argue that.
No,
They've
that's
taken
why
the
I'm not
Kings
saying
out of
anything. They've
poverty,
been good. They've been good, and
right?
you know what? That brings us
Right?
into our next. That brings us into our next thing
It
is the
does.
All-Star starters, because first of all, let's mention the Miles Turner extension. Let's
Yeah, right.
quickly
Real quick.
give him his flowers, because I'm going to be honest. I don't know if he deserves 30 million, but he deserves an extension for sure. I just don't. I think that's a little bit too pricey for Miles Turner. I think there's better centers you could have paid, including probably DeAndre Ayton. I'd take, but
You take DeAndre Ayton over Miles Turner.
I think I would. I think I would.
So Miles Turner's a more versatile big, right? He's got a 3-point shot that's disgusting.
That's
He was
why. That's where I come to the debate when I think
yeah.
about those two. So I
Well,
think that I think Miles Turner is a better overall player. I think he's also the more complete player in terms of how many times have we seen DeAndre Ayton lose his cool like he's a mega superstar, and like how many times do you turn the TV on and him and the coaches are in a screaming match? Like,
I have a feeling Chris Paul has a DeAndre Ayton voodoo doll that he stabs in the head every week with a bunch of needles or something, because everyone on the Phoenix Suns doesn't like DeAndre Ayton, which is really tough because he's been scapegoated. You know, the whole 2021, sorry, the whole
21, yeah.
2021 finals fell on the shoulders of Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton. And Chris Paul fans you know, jumped on ship to the DeAndre Ayton hate train, and now DeAndre Ayton's the whole reason why they lost the finals that year. Ayton should be on a different team. He frankly should. He almost signed with the Indiana Pacers. And could you imagine a front court duo of Miles Turner and DeAndre Ayton?
So
Like that's
if he got that, okay, so if Ayton went to Indiana, would Miles Turner still get the extension?
would they have
I think
money
that's
to
a
do that?
fair. Okay, yeah, but I mean, depending
Oh,
on
the
how
Pacers.
much,
They're not paying anyone big money right now. I think their second biggest
except for
contract is
Buddy
on the
Hield.
yeah, or TJ McConnell.
Yeah. It's, I
Don't
know.
sleep on TJ. Don't sleep on TJ because TJ's getting he's controlling the ship with Tyrese Halliburton
Yeah.
out right now. And I gotta give him love. He's always been one of my favorite players since Philly. Do you remember when the process in Philly was just sort of ramping up and it was
No, it
Joel Embiid?
never ramped up. It never ramped up. Cut it
It was
out.
getting
Cut it
going,
out.
is what I'm
Cut it.
saying.
Cut it out. It never got going. Okay, continue.
Get
Continue.
off the Boston Pride ship,
I'm
buddy.
not.
All
I'm
right.
not. I'm not. Oh, are you going to be one of those players to say that the Joel Embiid didn't make the starters because of the Boston media? Are you going to be that
No,
guy?
no. That's ridiculous. I don't know who's pushing that narrative, but it's ridiculous. Joel Embiid did not deserve to start in the NBA All-Star game. Let's go right into that. You know what? Thank God for Miles Turner. Congratulations on your $30 million per year bag. You don't deserve it, but in this climate in the NBA, you just can't stop stuff like that. You know what I mean? When you had it all started with Chandler Parsons, and I'm not even going to get mad at Chandler Parsons in 2016. I'm going to get mad at the Memphis Grizzlies front office for even offering that damn deal to him. Oh my God. And from there, ever since, man, role players have been overvalued to an extent that I can't wrap my mind around. It's ridiculous. But let's move on. All-Star game. The starters were selected, but not the pool of reserves. Those will be announced later on. I'm not sure what date, but the starters in the East: Kyrie Irving, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, and one half of the best duo in the NBA.
You already
Giannis
said Jason Tatum. You already said him. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo is the center. You already said
Antetokounmpo.
Tatum. Don't say him twice. Don't say Tatum twice. The graphic's right in front of you. You said Kyrie Irving, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, in the one half of the best duo in the NBA. You already said Tatum. Don't ever repeat yourself on this show. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I'm looking
It's
at the
Giannis.
third best. I'm looking at the second best duo in this graphic. They're both in here. Can you see who I'm looking at?
Yeah, Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay, get it off. Get it off. Let's talk about the West. Oh, do you want to talk about East first, or should I talk
Yeah,
about
let's
both?
talk about the East because there's no
Okay.
starting center in the Eastern Conference. There's no starting center in the Eastern Conference. Joel Embiid's name thrown around. Everybody was it was between Tatum, Giannis, and Joel Embiid. Tatum and Giannis got the nod. Joel Embiid didn't. Philly reporters are saying that it's Boston's media was the one who didn't get, which I think is bogus. And I'm not saying that because I'm Boston guy, but I think that's totally bogus. If no, Philly fans, every team, every fan in the universe had their chance to vote. They had multiple 3-for-1 voting days. The fan votes for I think it's 50% of the vote, 50, and then they go 25 media, 25 to play. That was plenty of time. They have plenty of time, plenty of opportunities to vote Joel Embiid in. That ain't my problem. That's not our problem.
I
Tatum
don't
and
think
Giannis get
anyone.
the
I
nod.
don't think anyone in their right mind outside of Philadelphia was voting Joel Embiid in over KD or Giannis or Tatum. That's the three of these guys have had. Um,
MVPs.
KD and Tatum are arguably having the best seasons of their career.
Right.
Uh, Giannis is
Giannis is
not,
just dominant.
but
He's
he's
still
as
dominant
dominant.
though.
Yeah, yeah, he's modern day Shaq. I love when Shaq said that, but he's Shaq with court vision and the
Right.
ability to dribble with a ball. But I think those are fair picks, right? I mean,
A very fair picks.
I could see KD going either way simply because he's hurt, but he played enough up until that point. Um, and this is where I want to talk about the whole injury discussion. How many games do you think a player needs to play by midseason point?
Okay.
Through 14 games, how many games does one need to play to qualify to be an all-star starter?
So can I answer that after we talk about the West? Because that's something I want to
Yep.
talk about here.
Yep.
Because the Western Conference, Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, in my opinion, all right. LeBron James, of course. Nikola Jokic, possibly winning his third MVP in a row, potentially. Then who is that power forward right there? Who is that? Is that's not DeMontis Sabonis. Who is that? That's Zion.
Oh,
That's Zion. That's
so you just
Zion
said something.
Williamson.
You just said something that a lot of NBA fans are afraid to admit, and it's that Domantas Sabonis likely deserved the All-Star starting nod in the West over
People don't
Zion
talk
Williamson.
about. People don't talk about it. It's funny how people say like, "Oh man, like I wish the Kings were good. I would, like I feel bad for them." And then it's like, "Oh, I haven't met a Kings fan." And now that the Kings are what, third in the West, the Beam team, everybody hates them. Everybody talks down on them. I love
You
it. I
can't
love what they're doing.
you can't be a genuine enjoyer of the game and not be a fan of the Beam team. And for those who don't know, the Sacramento Kings have been coined the Beam team because they've got this purple beam that shoots up into the sky outside of Golden One Center in Sacramento. And when you press the button, the beam goes up. It's not a real button. They have it like behind the stage. But there's a big button at the center court, and the player of the game gets to light the beam, and it goes up. And so now Sacramento's the beam team, third in the West. And Domantas Sabonis is the main factor behind this. And people will probably say, oh, it might be De'Aaron Fox because he's the flashier player. He makes more headlines. Domantas Sabonis is quietly almost averaging a triple-double. He's Jokic Jr. He's Jokic light. One would say Jokic is Sabonis on crack. So Sabonis is averaging 18 and a half, 12.3 rebounds, 7.5 assists on 61% shooting. Who
That's
does that?
elite.
Who does that? And he's played how many games? 46 games.
That to
Look,
me, that to me is
I
elite. Like I mean, he doesn't get enough credit. It's ridiculous.
he's the reason that Sacramento is doing what they're doing. And Tyrese Halliburton, that trade for the Halliburton for Sabonis trade couldn't have been more beneficial for both sides.
I
I
was
think
so funny. I was gonna say like a year ago, like we were talking about how like not we necessarily me and you, but like we were
no no
talking
no no
about
no.
how one-sided the trade was, and oh the Kings got fleeced and all this and that, and it turns out like both teams similar to the the Rory trade where the Lakers won, but at the same time the Wizards kind of won. That was the case. Sacramento is making out big time from that.
Let me go ahead and give Sabonis some love here because my Orlando Magic drafted Sabonis 11th overall in 2016. Trading him with Victor Oladipo for Serge Ibaka was one of the dumbest decisions the organization actually in NBA history by any team ever made, right? Because we only had Serge Ibaka for 6 months. Domantas Sabonis went to Indiana and blossomed into a two-time All-Star and is 100% going to be an All-Star this year. If I'm him, I'm not sweating over not being a starter. I'm just glad that I made the All-Star team. And for some reason, if he doesn't, then I don't know what I think it's 100% guaranteed he's made the team or either team or, in this season. Does he deserve it over Zion Williamson is the question.
Yes, because listen, you just asked me a couple minutes ago. You have to play more than, in my opinion, Zion's played, and don't get me wrong, look, Zion playing at an elite level when he's been on the court this year. Elite level, all-star starter level when he's on the court this year. But they've played 50 games. He's only been on the court for 20 of those games.
29.
29.
Which surprised me. It surprised me.
That's what? 21 different? I don't know.
He's missed 21 games.
I don't agree with that. I think Sabonis, who's been putting up great numbers, maybe not Zion elite numbers, but putting up great numbers. He's been on the court consistently. He's helping his team win night in and night out. I'm taking Domantas Sabonis in the start. Zion makes the All-Star team, no doubt. But when you're picking starters first of all, the next name out of that would have been Anthony Davis. So that to me is already like, don't get me wrong, AD playing unbelievable when he's healthy. But he had a great stretch. Right. But he hasn't been healthy. And that's the same thing with Zion Williamson. He's been playing great, but he hasn't been playing. So that's my thought.
AD's played less games than Zion this year, which is crazy to me that he was even in conversation to be a starter, in the first place. I don't think Zion's – I don't think – what's that?
Didn't the Magic have Sabonis?
That's what I was saying. We drafted Sabonis.
Yeah.
And on draft night, I believe, traded him and Victor Oladipo to the Thunder. Sorry, I said they traded him to Indiana right away. They traded him to the Thunder for Serge Ibaka.
Okay.
And Serge Ibaka spent 6 months. So can I tell you real quick? We traded in its totality. We traded Domantas Sabonis, Victor Oladipo, and I believe another pick for Serge Ibaka, who then turned into Terrence Ross. So we got Terrence Ross.
It sounds pretty ridiculous when you explain it out, doesn't it?
From a combined, I believe, 4 or 5 All-Star games from Oladipo and Sabonis.
All right, listen, we have to move on. All right, we have to move on.
Right.
These are our top bench performers of the week. Look, we want to give some bench players some reserves to love. We talk about the guys like KD, Giannis, Jason Tatum. We talk about even Paolo Banchero, but we got to give the bench players their nods. This was this week's top 3 players of the week off the bench. Seth Curry, Philadelphia, yes, they did lose, but off the bench, 32 points, 11 of 20 from the field, shot 7 of 10. He was giving his father-in-law, Doc Rivers, the business. Ooh. But he was. And Mo Wagner, Mo VP, like I like to say, last night, dropping 27 off the bench. Love that.
My goodness. Mo Shiesty coming back, man. This guy decides to turn it on against elite sort of teams. Like I'll call the Bulls semi-elite because they've got.
No way! No, we're not saying that. Hell no, we're not calling the Chicago Bulls. No way.
They have elite talent, Justin. They've got elite talents. You can't laugh at that. They've got elite talents. You can't look at DeMar DeRozan.
No, Vooch is not elite. Vooch is not elite. Vooch is not elite.
Oh my God.
Vooch is not. Vooch is. Vooch is not elite. Come on now, Vooch is not elite. He's a solid,
buddy.
I would take DeAndre Ayton over Vooch. I would take Miles Turner over Vooch. I would take Robert Williams over Vooch. Don't tell me you take Vooch over Robert Williams.
You just named. Okay, I would not take Ayton over Vooch. I would take the other 2 over Vooch. You named.
You're such a homer, man.
Keep it going. Get rid of it. Go through Brogdon. Tell him about Brogdon.
Brogdon, 26-4.
Yeah, quietest performance. How do you feel with Mo Wagner outplaying Malcolm Brogdon?
Whoa, 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 whoa! Quietest performance? He was the third best scorer of the night last night in Mo Shiesty. 27 points. Finally had a better game than his younger baby brother. But guess what? They got blown out by the Chicago Bulls.
Did you watch the game?
Yes,
Can
I
I
did
explain
watch
something
the
about that
game.
game? Can I
No,
explain that game?
I don't want to. Oh, Coach Mosley blew it. Coach Mosley. Coach Jamal Mosley.
Coach Mosley benched our starters. He benched our starters the entirety of the fourth quarter. Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner did not play. Granted,
And they came back. And they came back when they sat the start. They said, "You guys stink tonight. Get to the bench." They brought in They brought in Mo Wagner, and what did Mo do? Mo says, "Hey, baby bro, sit down. I got this." Goes in.
Play them together. You can sit.
No, they can't play together. They can't play together.
Yes, they can. They flourish off of each other, man.
Clearly not. When Franz had his worst game of the year last night and Mo had his best game. That's not flourishing off each other.
They weren't playing together, man. When they play together,
right?
Mo,
yes.
Relax, simmer. Mo Wagner and Franz Wagner know each other better than anyone else in the Magic. I am inclined to believe that each of them are confident in each other's abilities. Even if Franz isn't scoring it, which he should be, he's not getting enough touches, Mo can turn it on. Mo is sacrificing his touches to let his baby brother get the buckets that we need because he's a better bucket getter, okay? Cole Anthony.
He didn't do that last night.
Because Franz wouldn't play. They didn't let him play.
That's Mosley's fault.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say Mosley, this is okay.
All right.
Okay.
Look.
27
Mo
points.
Wagner, 27.
8 for 11.
Yep. He had a really efficient night.
Yep.
Malcolm Brogdon, 26 points. Also a very efficient night. 8 of 15.
Less efficient, I might add.
Yeah, but more efficient because he won the game, baby. All right, look.
I don't know, man. That foul on LeBron wasn't called.
Hey, I agree. It was a foul. That ain't my problem, man.
Yeah.
That ain't my problem.
Okay.
Hey, I'm honest. I mean, first of all, clear, obvious foul. Second of all, I think the way LeBron reacted I think the way LeBron acted was extremely unprofessional, though. I get he was frustrated and it was but rolling around on the floor crying like that's embarrassing. Yeah. That is embarrassing. Do you know how many kids spend money in wearing LeBron? First of all, those kids at the game last night, go look at all the Lakers. Those ain't Lakers fans. Those are LeBron's fans. Like, those aren't Laker fans. They know nothing about the Lakers. They don't want it. LeBron James, is supposed to be a role model. What about in, kids' rec games? And I said this morning on the radio. What about kids' rec games, their town games that they're playing in, these 8 to 10-year-olds, and they don't get a call their way? Are they gonna roll on the ground because they saw their role model roll on the ground and cry? I don't agree with that. I agree it was a foul. There is no doubt
I'm with
foul.
you.
That was a crucial missed call. But there is no way he should have reacted. And he didn't even get a technical foul out of it. That's ridiculous.
To be fair, wasn't at the end of the game, within the clock run out, and then he does it.
But right after that, Patrick Beverly brought a camera over to the official, tried to show the official. He literally took the media's camera, brought it up, and he got a technical foul. So why wouldn't LeBron get a timeout or a technical foul during the break?
We all know that the league protects LeBron to a certain extent, and that's not even a reach. That's not even a conspiracy. We know that happens.
No, it's the truth.
You follow that thread that Kenny Beecham, King of the Fourth Quarters, did on Twitter, where he was saying, went back on every Lakers post, they've never included LeBron James in a losing graphic.
Yes.
I don't know, man. They don't want people to think that LeBron James is a loser because he's their biggest moneymaker outside of Steph Curry. I'll say this. I watched a number of those middle school elite games. You know, the ones with the pink and green jerseys, the MSHTV.
Yep.
And kids are... when I played AAU in middle school, and I was around 12 or 13, there was nobody doing that, in your face.
I know. No talking, right.
So I would get upset at refs. Everyone gets upset at a ref, but I would never crumble to the floor And I'm not gonna.
Roll
I'm the
around.
you're gonna catch saying, "Yo, be a man," because I think that's a very toxic way of describing this. But LeBron James let himself be a child. When I tell LeBron James to be a man, I mean grow up. Don't. I'm not
Right,
saying be a
right,
stereotypical man. Be a man, grow up, and own what happened. The game didn't go
right,
your way, and they missed a call. Do you know how many missed calls happen, and LeBron James doesn't act on those
right,
for the benefit of his team?
right,
It's
right.
ridiculous. It's
Right. And
ridiculous.
to say that then Schroeder goes on and he says, "We've lost 3 to 5 games this year with the officiating." It's like the officiating, okay, so you add those 3 wins and instead of 5 games back at the 13th seed, you're 2.5. Like it's like, okay, whoa, that's not why you guys are below 500. That's not the reason why. Like, he's definitely gonna get fined. But I think it was a foul, no doubt. But like, you have to learn to control,
Yeah.
like that rolling around on the floor and doing this and like to me, like and we talked about this before that happened. What is screaming at an official going to do? What is it gonna? Is he gonna say, "Oh, you know what?" Without, especially without a challenge and without reviewing it, the ability to review. Oh yeah, you know what? Why don't you both teams come out of your huddle? You know what? LeBron was right. We're gonna shoot free throws, and the Lakers are gonna, win the game because I changed my mind 20 minutes after the play. So yes, it's like that's not gonna happen. And
It's
LeBron, like,
almost as
go ahead.
sorry.
No,
No, I
you
was gonna say
go.
it's almost as useless as those last 2 minute reports that come out after the game. You know, when they release, oh, we looked back at it and yeah, this player was fouled on this crucial play. And they don't do anything about it. No one gets fined. No one gets reprimanded. They just post a PR statement saying, "Yeah, sorry, we messed up. Um, won't happen again." They don't even say it like that. They're just like, "We
Right,
messed up. This is what happened." That does nothing for anybody except for dig your fingers deeper into the wound. You know what I mean? And I see guys like Luka Doncic, who's a big name in the younger generation. I would have thought that once LeBron James was out of the league, we would realize that crying the refs and being that big baby. And look, I love LeBron to an extent, man. He's a
right.
phenomenal talent,
There's
and
no doubt he's one of the greatest.
no
No
doubt,
doubt.
and I respect him. I respect him on the court for that. The minute he starts acting like things don't go his way, and he needs to go to a ref and cry about it. This is a discussion that's happened millions and millions of times. Nothing's gonna come from it. And now Luka Doncic has adopted that. And after every single call, Luka's throwing his hands around. What's happening
Right.
here? That's only gonna make the refs not side in your favor if there's a 50-50 call happening. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
No,
ridiculous.
definitely. 100%. But again, I'm not sitting here being a biased Celtics fan and telling you that wasn't a foul. They will tell you it's a foul. And when Darvin Ham went after and he goes, we're not looking for the right call, we're looking for consistency. It's like not to like sit here, and I'm not denying that there was a foul, but there were definitely missed calls in the Celtics favor in the Lakers favor last night as well. And like throughout the
Yeah.
season, like I get it. Like you're asking for consistency, but when you're rolling on the ground and when you're crying and when you're bringing cameras up to the officials, that's not asking for consistency at all. Like that's over the that's over the line. And somebody says you have your yelling at refs over the few years. What's that about? You getting a little feisty
I
with the refs?
I used to lead my high school team in ejections.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh.
because I wasn't the most talented or skilled player on the team. I was a pretty solid defender in the paint. Uh, so I would like chirp kids and I'd chirp the refs. And I remember getting tossed out of a game that my family was in attendance for. And I was like, nothing to be proud of. But I was like, "What, are you gonna go home and tell your wife you threw me out of the game? Is that gonna make her happy?" And he's like,
You said
"Yeah."
that?
Yeah, and then my coach went up to the ref after, and he's like, "You're being an arse." You know what I mean? So then he got thrown out too.
He said that? He said you're being an ass? Did he even hear what you
Yeah,
said?
I'd go on and on. I don't want to bore anyone about it, but the ref was being
All right.
terrible all long, and yeah, that was
Alright.
my story of high school ball. I think I had
That's
maybe 20 points in that season.
so you had more
So
technical fouls than points, is what you're
maybe,
telling me.
maybe
Alright,
it was.
look.
I won teammate of the year. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
Are
okay.
we doing this
Alright.
now? All right. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
let's
dig
do
into
this
it.
now. Okay, we kinda took a little bit. We kinda took a little bit, but we'll
Yeah.
we'll we'll we can figure out some things. But let's end the show on some fun. Okay,
Yeah,
we
let's
put
do it.
together so every week there. If anybody at home saying why Toronto, every week we're gonna do a top 10, and we're gonna do top 10 jerseys right now, and we're gonna go through each franchise's jerseys instead of doing a bunch of random jerseys. Each franchise's jerseys, and we started off. We spun a wheel. It was actually I asked Siri heads or tails, and it was a big mess. But we ended up with the Toronto Raptors. So Oscar put together his top 10 Toronto Raptors jersey. Take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, quick recap. I'm a Toronto kid born and bred, the biggest Magic fan north of the border, all right? That doesn't mean I can't give some love to my hometown team. These jerseys, some of the coldest of all time. I grew up with these around me, and I'm going to start with the number one. This red Raptors jersey, the alternate that they wore through their poverty seasons on the way to landing, Andrea Bargnani. My favorite. It reminds me of a simpler time. Just, it's nostalgic in itself. The St. Patty's ones, same reason, just green. Who doesn't love the St. Patty's jerseys? If you're lying to yourself, if
Facts.
you,
Who doesn't love green? Huh?
but no, I get it. I get the South, but you're lying to yourself if you say, "Oh, I didn't like any of the St. Patty's jerseys." Hang on, 1 second. 1 second. No. Okay. You're
Jeez.
lying to yourself.
Yeah,
You're
that's
lying
fire.
if you don't
That's
like
fire.
the St. Patty's jerseys. I'm sorry. That's just they were cold, and they looked good. Okay, third,
Hold on.
similar design, but the purple ones. I believe that was the purple front, back black kind of thing.
St. Patty's
There you
Day.
go,
These are
man.
fire. These are
They're just
fire. All
great.
right,
Green looks good.
continue.
Continuing the green theme, the Hoops for Troops jerseys were fire. I don't cover your mouth, man. These were good. When the Spurs wore them, they were good too. I don't know, just a nice little homage to our troops, the Canadian troops that aren't used very often. The fifth, the earned jerseys, the ones they won the championship in.
These
That
are
night was,
fire. These are
yeah,
fire.
I was an honorary Raps fan the night they won the championship. I went out in the streets and we all partied. It was great. The OVO jerseys, the first OVO jerseys that came out with the gold trim. Ideal. That was the Corey Joe Bismack era. 7, 1995-97, the classics.
Fire.
2016, the hardwoods, the blue hardwoods. Fond memories of high school because they were playing those when I was in like grade 10. And lastly,
Fire. Fire.
the classics. It's just the way to go. So
These
those
are
are my
fire.
picks. I don't
All
think
right.
that there's a wrong answer on this list. I think if you don't like the Hoops for Troops, I understand. But grow up, okay?
All right.
Grow up because
Ready?
they're nice.
You ready for mine?
What's he got? What's he got? I didn't finish. I didn't do the labels on these ones. I'm sorry, but we'll be able to describe them anyways.
Okay. Okay. Starting off with number one. Starting off with number one. Are you done?
And you laughed at Troops? Are you kidding me? Run them through. Run them through. Tell them the difference between the first one you have and the other one I had.
Okay. The number one Toronto Raptors one is the white Raptor. It's the new one. Then the purple Raptor for number two. And then I really like these, the white ones with the purple. That one's pretty cool. And then the purple with the purple with the white. And then I really like these ones they were in Italy or Mexico.
It was NBA Europe. I'm gonna guess Italy.
Europe. Chinese New Year jerseys.
He's surprised because he didn't give me his full list of jerseys. And so based on my taste, I picked the rest that I thought he'd like. Chinese New Year's fire. You can't say otherwise. It's just a number that's gross.
Is that an OVO jersey?
I think it's just a pride jersey. The gold was always nice with the Raptors jerseys. I'll give him that.
Give me that? You mean give yourself that? You picked this. Um, I think this is a similar jersey that you had at your number 1 instead of red, it's white, which I like.
Yeah,
These are
yeah,
I think are these the Chris Bosh ones?
yeah.
Or like Chris Bosh, early DeMar DeRozan days, those. I like those. And then actually, I don't like OVO jerseys, but this one was pretty good. OVO with Drake and the gold and the black. This one was good. The really only one I really have a problem with was that Chinese New Year one, and I have nothing against at all the culture, but like the design is just so. The design is not good. Is that a dragon and then the Raptors logo as the letter? I just
I'm assuming that what they've spelt out on top is in Mandarin or Cantonese, but the number below it is what irks me a lot.
Yeah, the
Um,
font doesn't match whatsoever.
no, it doesn't match. I love how you had to have a disclaimer whether or not you were accepting of Chinese faith.
Yeah, love that, but not the jersey.
Oh
Um,
man.
but I do really like. I think everybody is so up for the purple Raptor. I really like the white Raptor. I think it's just so clean and like just underrated. Not a lot of people look at that. And then the Vince Carter jerseys, the white and then the purple. If you don't know what they are, look up the Vince Carter slam dunk contest. One half of the jersey is white, like the front half is white, and then the back half is purple. And then I just think that's really cool. But yeah, this was the Toronto Raptors. We'll have to flip a coin for the next franchise because this was a horrible franchise to start off with. At least it's getting out of the way.
I
And
thought
I
my
do,
picks were good. My picks were solid.
dude, your picks were solid. I only got the first 4 picks out of this, and then you decided to just embarrass me.
Five.
So
You told me to include the NBA Europe one. You told me to include the
yes,
Europe
I
one.
do like that one. I do like that one, and that was like a one-time thing. That was like a one-time thing. And the Celtics also had a Europe jersey that was like that. And actually, I have it right here. This is sick. Isn't this sick?
Oh my god.
And it has the date. It's so rare. It has the date. October 2007 is when they wore these. This was like a one time thing. Um,
Do
yeah,
are you familiar with when the New Orleans Hornets relocated to Oklahoma City during Hurricane Katrina and they wore Oklahoma City Hornets and they had a red
really.
jersey? That's the
No.
rarest jersey in modern NBA history is when they moved to Oklahoma City during Katrina. It said Oklahoma City on it and they had a red one and I'll show you after. We'll find a picture, but it's unbelievable.
You know what? I'm not in a rush to go anywhere. I don't know if you are. Let's play a quick game of Would You Rather to close out the show. Let's wrap up the show of Would You Rather. All right.
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna.
We'll save the draft one for another day, I
Well,
guess.
yeah. Next week we'll do the draft. Well, it's a good segment. But since do you want me to ask you some players, or do you want to ask me some players? It's
You
up
know
to
what?
you.
I'll ask you the first half. You ask me the second half. How about that?
Okay.
Okay. So the player in question today is Tyrese Halliburton.
And we're
Uh,
talking, by the way, this year,
this
not
year,
like prime, not 5 years ago, like now. Who would you take
right
today?
now, right as of January 29th. Okay. So Tyrese Halliburton, point guard of the Indiana Pacers. Right. Who would you rather have in this very moment? Okay. Halliburton or Darius Garland?
I'm taking. Ooh, I'm taking Tyrese. I'm gonna take
It,
Tyrese.
it's extremely close.
It is close. It's not like Tyrese clears the gap, but I
No,
think
I'm gonna take Garland. I'll take Garland.
okay. Respect. Dude, Darius
Um,
doesn't get talked about enough, by the way. Darius Garland doesn't get talked about
he
enough.
got a lot
Lowe,
of hype last. He got a lot of hype last year. I'll give him that. But this year he's only dipped off a bit because Donovan Mitchell's on his team now, right? So
right.
Tyrese Halliburton or Jalen Brunson.
I think Tyrese. I take Tyrese.
He doesn't clear, but it's a bigger gap between him and Brunson than it was him and Garland. Okay. Right now, Tyrese Halliburton or Kyrie Irving.
So right now I would rather start my franchise off with Tyrese, but I think Kyrie is just still so elite. I'm gonna take Kyrie, but I wouldn't it wouldn't shock me if next even as quick as like next season. that I say Tyrese. But like I'm gonna say skill wise and talent wise right now, I'm going Kyrie.
Both are winning games. Both Kyrie and Tyrese are winning games. I think Kyrie obviously is the more prolific scorer. Halliburton is a more prolific facilitator. Depending on my team, I'm gonna take Tyrese Halliburton over Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
I actually think that we should have talked about Tyrese Halliburton over Kyrie in the All-Star game starter, but I don't think that would have gone, honestly. Okay, so Halliburton or Anthony Simons?
I'm taking Halliburton, to be honest with you. I thought Simons was phenomenal last year. I think he's kind of declined a little bit this year. Like, I don't know. I don't know, but I think either way, Tyrese right now.
His scoring is up. He's averaging 24 a game last time I checked.
I
I don't know how
just
many.
think Tyrese is a more complete player though.
Yeah, better defender. His shot form is crazy. I don't understand how his shots go in at such an elite clip.
Mm.
Um, Halliburton or Fred VanVleet? This one's easy
I'm
for me.
ta- I'm easily taking Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah,
I'm easily.
Halliburton.
No, I don't think it's a question. I don't think it's a question. Like I'm not. No, dude, I'm not trolling. I don't think it's a question. I'm taking Halliburton.
Okay. If we talk to the guys in the what's it, the peach, the pear, peach and the
Yeah,
pear.
yeah. Pear and the
Yeah.
peach and the pear. No, hold on. I want to get it right. I want to get it right. I want to get it right. I
I
want to get
feel
it right.
bad, but they were disrespecting our guys last time you talked to them.
I want to get it right.
So yeah,
They
Fred
were
VanVleet, he's
Eddie.
having an off year.
It
But
is
VanVleet,
the pear. Oh, okay. It's the pear and the pea. It's the pear tree podcast with Eddie
okay,
and Marco. Love those dudes, but they were talking nonsense.
yeah, I haven't met him yet, but I know they talk a lot of nonsense. So we'll save that for another week. Yeah, I'll do two more, then you can take control. Okay,
All right.
Tyrese Halliburton or Jordan Poole.
Ooh. Oh my gosh.
I still think this is easy for me. I'm taking Tyrese over Jordan Poole.
I'm
I think
taking
he's more valuable.
Tyrese. I don't think Jordan Poole's decision making is good, and I don't think people talk about that
He's
at all. That
crazy
he
overrated.
got he got Curry ejected the other night because he instead of pulling the ball out and holding it to run the clock, he pulled out and shot a contested three or deep three, and Curry threw his mouth guard and got ejected for it. Dude, yeah, I'm taking Tyrese. Taking
Yeah,
Tyrese.
Jordan Poole is the most immature star in the NBA, and I'll do Tyrese Halliburton or DeJounte Murray.
Mm.
This one's tough. This one's
I'm
a
gonna
tougher one.
okay. Can I say, let me explain. I think DeJounte Murray, and the only reason, I think he's a better all around player in terms of, I think, yes, Tyrese's playmaking is elite, and even his shooting has improved tremendously. But I just think DeJounte Murray is a better defender. I think he's a
Yeah,
little bit, I think he could definitely accomplish more things. Like, he's got a sweet mid range jump shot. I'm going to take DeJounte Murray, but it's not like this tremendous, like, no,
no,
like he blows him out of the water. No, but I'm gonna give the edge to DeJounte.
I'm gonna take DeJounte too. That's fair. He's a scoring guard who also happens to have a semi-elite facilitation in his bag. So yeah, um, start with the next one. Do you have the next one?
Yeah, I do. Ja Morant.
Okay. Yeah,
Would you?
that's easy. Ah, is it
I'm
easy
taking
though?
Ja. I am taking Ja. I am gonna take
He
Ja.
just needs to cool it with the off the court, doing the gritty and
Oh,
stuff. Like you
dude,
grow up.
dude, you don't even have to mention that because I'm talking on court. Because I that gritty and all that cocky stuff. No, I don't agree with that. But skill wise on the court, I'm gonna take Ja. I'm gonna take Ja.
Yeah, I'll take Ja. That should be an easy call, but I'll go Ja. Okay.
Lamelo Ball, or Tyrese Halliburton. To me, this is one of the tougher ones, and I say that because I want to pick LaMelo, but the dude is never ever healthy. Like the poor guy is never healthy.
Imagine he's healthy though. I like we'll say how they're playing this season, but imagine they're all healthy, kind of thing. I want to say Lamelo.
I know.
I
I
think
do
I'm gonna.
too. I want to say Melo, but I don't want to like instantly regret it. Like that one's
No, and I
in
don't.
my opinion.
It's close. It's as close as Garland and Halliburton was. So the only reason I see LaMelo Ball as a better shot creator for himself and for his teammates. No, sorry, that's a lie. Tyrese is better at making shots for his teammates. LaMelo's better at making shots for himself. I feel like LaMelo might be a little better off the ball than Tyrese.
Yeah.
And I think that with the right pieces, what's weird, I want to say that LaMelo would be better with the right pieces, but Tyrese doesn't have many pieces himself except for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. So
Aaron Neesmith, baby.
I know he's your buddy.
Aaron Neesmith, baby.
We'll add it, sure. This is tough because LaMelo is a better offensive player. I'm going to say LaMelo. I'm still going to take LaMelo.
All right, De'Aaron Fox or Tyrese? Clearly the Kings said De'Aaron Fox.
The Kings think De'Aaron Fox. For right now, right this minute.
I'm going to stick with Swipe Up for right now.
Yeah? I'm going to say Tyrese.
All right.
I think if you put Tyrese in De'Aaron's spot, they might win more games.
Trae Young, Lollipop Boy, or Tyrese?
Trae Young clears.
You're a Trae Young fan?
I know he's had a rough year, man.
You're a Trae Young fan?
I know he's had a rough year. I love how cocky he is. He's got a good type of cocky. Devin Booker has a weak type of cocky.
Yeah, but Trae Young can't play defense for Jack.
Trae Young's shooting 32%. He's taking on a lot of offense on his own because his teammates just are lackluster. But we know what Trae's capable of, and I'm not saying I'm not making my decision based on his peak last year.
If I'm picking it off of today, I'm taking Tyrese and I'm building my team around Tyrese over Trae Young. I'm doing it.
That's fair. I still think Trae Young can be a Curry type player, but he needs to take that leap. There's another leap he needs to take. He's already up that in terms of scoring on Curry's level. He needs to take that. He's also a phenomenal passer.
I just think he needs to mature more.
Yeah, he needs to become more efficient from the field. Okay, fair.
Dame, who just dropped 60, bro, or
this one's
Tyrese?
Not a question. This one's not a question for me. I'm going Dame.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going Dame as well for sure. Jaylen Brown or Tyrese Halliburton, which is a weird comparison. Same thing. I'm going to bring it up, Anthony Edwards, because both these guys can play the guard position, but they're also kind of wings. I'm going to pick, dude. Ooh, this is tough.
Anthony Edwards has taken over as the lead ball handler in Minnesota. D'Angelo Russell has been kind of put aside. But they play well together without Karl Anthony Towns or Rudy Gobert on the floor, which is mind-boggling to me. I'm going to take Jaylen Brown over Tyrese.
And then Edwards?
I'm going to take Anthony Edwards over Tyrese, too.
What about Jalen Green of the Houston Rockets?
Both two guards. No. Jalen Green is the most overrated player in the NBA. No.
Okay.
Tyrese clears in every single way.
Wait, who's the most overrated player in the NBA?
Jalen. He's inefficient. Okay. He takes low IQ shots. Okay. He could be a phenomenal scorer one day, but he's not a defender. He's got no defensive IQ.
Yeah, so you know who you just described to me, and he's actually the next person on this list. It's Tyler Hero.
I think he's taking a step forward defensively, man. I think he's getting up. I think he's getting better as a starter. I think this year is that bridge between bench player with less responsibilities to starter with more responsibilities. He's getting more triple doubles. He's more active on the boards. I don't think he's a better shooter than he was last year, but he's still 20 points
decline.
Yeah, well, that'll happen when you get more touches.
It also he's kind of playing a different role compared to last year. All right, last but not least, Your boy, Drew Holiday.
The most underrated player in the NBA.
Shut up.
It's better
Drew
than Jaylen Brown.
Holiday.
I'd take him over Jaylen Brown. And what I'm going to say is Drew Holiday clears Tyrese Halliburton. I can say that confidently. Drew Holiday is the best defensive guard in the NBA. Probably should have won Depoy over Marcus Smart last year. And
No, because if Robert Williams was healthy, it would have been Robert Williams. We all know that.
yeah,
We all
but
know
he
that.
wasn't.
No, we all know that. We all know that. Yeah, but he wasn't. Same thing about Drew Holiday. But he wasn't. But he wasn't.
He
But
was
he
healthy.
wasn't.
He was there. I
But
just
he
think it was
wasn't.
the wrong call.
But he wasn't. He was not the decoy when he was healthy. Smart went through injuries, and he still got decoy.
All right. Well, that's fair.
He ain't
Marcus
decoy
Smart,
this year, though. I'll tell you that right now, though.
Marcus Smart or Tyrese Halliburton?
Tyrese.
Okay, cool.
Tyrese. Okay. Give me Marcus's defense, Marcus's hustle, and Marcus's grit to win, and give me everything else on the defense, offensive end. I think they're total polar opposite players. Marcus Smart, gritty, defensive leader, and Tyrese Halliburton, amazing young, superstar. I'm saying superstar offensive player. I'm saying that. I don't care. Tyrese doesn't get the respect that he needs. Maybe not superstar, but
Valid.
definitely all-star.
I thought he
I
deserved
don't
it
know
over Kyrie for starter of the All-Star game. Like I said earlier, I think Tyrese.
who was that reporter talking all smack on Tyrese? Was it Wally Zerbiak from New
Wally
York?
Zerbiak. So
I have
literally this
two of
year,
his jerseys.
if Tyrese makes the All-Star game, he's going to have the same amount of All-Star appearances that Wally Zerbiak had. And Wally Zerbiak is probably one of the top 10 most forgotten All-Stars in NBA history. You averaged a 20-point season on an empty Minnesota team. I'm sorry, bro. Like you were never him. And I know he wouldn't be listening to something like this, but he's a pathetic excuse, as is Eddie House for an NBA analyst.
Damn, I haven't said a word. That's all Oscar Creed. Justin Lowe. That's Oscar Creed. That's the Oscar Creed that got thrown out of more basketball games than he's ever played. Yeah, some games he would just get in the warm. He'd be in the warm up line. The ref would look at him and go, "You ain't playing today. You're gone. You're out."
I was
right,
like not the Draymond Green, maybe the Markieff Morris of the team. I'd say it was the Markieff Morris, which is pretty solid.
Pushing people in the
Team
back. No, didn't he get pushed in the back?
No, Jokic pushed him in the back.
Yeah, weak move. All right, listen. That was a good show. Look, Hero so easily. Yes, Hero. Tyler Hero.
Their comments. I didn't see the comments.
Is this your brother?
I couldn't see the comments.
Tyler Hero or Bob?
Oh, that
McAdoo?
is him. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I wasn't even seeing these.
He said Tyler Hero is so easily better than Tyrese Halliburton. Oh boy! All right.
Oh. Really, really quickly, I want to address these.
Is he a Magic fan?
Who, my brother?
Yeah.
No, he's a Heat
fan. Is
he
a Toronto? Oh God! All right, we're out of here. We're ending it there.
Real quick. Tyler Hero or Bob McAdoo? I think Bob McAdoo is one of the most underappreciated superstars in NBA history. Tyler Hero does not get enough love. He's better than Jordan Poole by a long shot. You're right. There's no debate there.
No, there ain't.
This is a question that my brother and I have had for a very long time.
It's so easily Blake Griffin, baby. My boy Blake. It's so easily Blake Griffin. Jumping over Kia.
You're saying that
better. Huh? No, I'm not saying that because he's on the Celtics.
You're saying this because he backed.
No, I didn't.
Up on the Celtics.
No, I've always been a Blake fan. Don't pull this on me because we're on camera. You know I've been a Blake fan. You know I've trusted. You know I've always been a Blake guy. Don't start this here. Don't. No. The only thing I'll give Kemba is he didn't have nearly as good of a supporting cast as Blake Griffin has ever had in his career. That's what I'll give Kemba Walker. But no way are you going to sit here and try to tell me that the Charlotte Bobcats leader Kemba Walker is better than Blake Griffin all time. Nope. No. Why? Who does Sam think?
We've been told it's probably the most. I'm telling you, let me talk. It's probably the most even debate of all time between two players when you look at their peaks. I think it's valid. think about the context. Kemba Walker with no help on his team. His best player maybe was Al Jefferson. They made the playoffs
Michael
that one
Kidd
year,
Griffin.
and they gave the Heat a couple games.
Hey,
Blake
they had
Griffin.
Dwight.
Oh, Blake Griffin had Chris DeAndre Jordan and a killer.
Which is what I just said. Jay
Yeah.
crossover
So,
they had.
but
They had
they
JJ Redick.
went equally as far in terms of expectations. You know what I mean? Like, I think the
They
Charlotte
blew
Hornets and
it.
Kemba Walker, they exceeded expectations, but Blake Griffin fell short of
Okay,
those.
but that is the team. We're talking about individuality. That's who we're talking about. We're not talking about this Charlotte Hornets and the Los Angeles Clippers. We're talking about Blake Griffin, lonesome, and Kemba Walker, lonesome. That's who we're talking about. And I
Kemba
think Blake
Walker.
Griffin had a better.
Kemba Walker. Kemba
Who?
Walker.
Okay, who does Sam? Who does Sam think? Blake or Kemba?
I don't know if he's still typing. I have no idea if he's still here.
No, but you said you guys debate over this all the time. So obviously one of you two.
Sam probably says Kemba. I would honestly think he says Kemba.
So what do you debate over? If you guys talk about it and debate over, what are you debating over? If you have the
with
same
other
thought?
people, people.
I think it's Blake, and I think it clears. I think it clears so much. He's dunking over. He's dunking over Kemba.
We got
I think he's dunking
someone
over.
said Kemba.
Yeah, it's my girlfriend
Isabel
going
Jones.
against me. That's my girlfriend going against me.
Last note from the comments. Prime Hassan Whiteside was better than Prime Sabonis. That is a boneheaded numbskull take, Samuel, and I am going to let that go.
Really? No, there's no such thing as Prime Hassan Whiteside. Let's get that out of there. There's no such thing as there's not. There's not. He had a good year on the Miami Heat. That's prime. That counts as prime. No, he ain't. No,
they made the playoffs. That was the team that lost a game to
Where
Kemba,
is he now?
Where's Blake Griffin,
they
man?
Suck.
Like,
what are you saying? What are you saying?
Bro,
I'm legitimately asking where Hassan Whiteside is. Where is he? Is he on the Portland Trailblazers? Is he?
No,
isn't he on the Blazers?
That's right.
What Blake Griffin is. This has been this week's episode of the Lowe Zone. Come back next week. We will have a good episode for you. I think this is pretty fun in all seriousness, Oscar. I'm super excited to bring you on. I think this is going to be fun. We're going to talk about the NBA Weekly. And actually, isn't the trade deadline? Is it trade deadline next week or the week after? It's coming up.
February 9th is the NBA trade deadline. And
yes. So we're going to have a packed schedule. We're going to have a packed schedule. So follow us on Instagram, the Lowe Zone, where we cover the NBA. We've been covering it daily the past couple of days. We've been really busy, but we try to cover the NBA on a daily basis. We're going to be active on TikTok as much as we can, the Lowe Zone there. And then come back here. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you know what? Let's throw up. Want to throw your brother up at number 1? Now, we'll wait till episode 2. We can't let these, just because we got to let these people come back. We got to let these people come back.
Oh, yeah. My brother and my dad were pretty active. I'll give your girlfriend third place.
That's what I'm saying. If Bell wins, I'd be getting the jersey. I just buy it for myself. So that's all right. Bell, you can win the jersey. I'll just buy it for myself. I'll get myself a nice Blake Griffin jersey. I'll get myself.
Let's give a shout out to this Carson Allen fella for commenting.
Yeah. Yeah. So, hey, look, whether we know you or not, we appreciate you stopping by here at the Lowe Zone. No, yeah, whatever. Story of my life. I wanted the jersey. Who do you want? Derek White. She hates Derek White. Why? Because he's ugly. That's what she says. I think
he is probably the ugliest player in the NBA.
All right, we're done here. Why am I getting teamed up on the Lowe Zone? This is bogus. This is bogus. This is horrifically bogus. All right, listen. First of all,
hey, wait, no, wait. Justin, I just got a Snapchat from Derek White.
Ha ha ha! Last time I heard that, I laughed so hard I fell off my dinosaur. Do you know what that's from?
Don't care. You've been to the Lowe Zone. This is Oscar Creed capping things off this week for the Lowe Zone. Thank you for having me on. I'll be
wait. Didn't the Orlando Magic have DeMontis Sabonis? Didn't they? Wait, didn't they have Dwight Howard? Didn't they have Shaq and Penny? Oh my God. Wait, didn't they also have Bismack Biyombo at 1.2?
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
All right, take care, guys. All seriousness, we do appreciate you guys stopping by. Come back next week, 2 p.m. And follow our social medias.